Since the creation of Israel in 1948, the Middle East has witnessed continuous wars, and behind many of these wars stands Israel. In 1956, Israel alongside France and Britain attacked Egypt because the former president Jamal Abdel Nasser nationalized the Suez Canal. In 1967, Israel once again attacked Egypt and Syria and occupied a large swath of Arab territories, including the Golan Heights, that the UN and the entire world, except Trump, recognize it as Syrian land. In 1973, Damascus and Cairo tried to liberate the occupied lands, but the treason of former president of Egypt aborted the military mission, and therefore Syria managed to only liberate Quneitra. In 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon and occupied the southern parts of the country until 2000. Later in 2006, Israel again invaded Lebanon, but this time Hezbollah was able to resist the occupation forces and force them to withdraw. In 2008, 2009, 2010, 2014, and until this moment, Israel continuously bombs the Gaza Strip. Between these wars, Israel also urged the USA to remove Saddam Hussein from power, and still urging the USA to remove President Bashar al-Assad and topple the Iranian government. I'm already tired of counting the Israeli wars against Arab states. If I forgot any, please post it in the comments. Now let's move to what happened in the midnight.
Libya.
Israel sent fighter jets into the Lebanese airspace, violated the Lebanese sovereignty, and from there fired tens of rockets and missiles on Syria, killing scores of civilians, including children and infants. Yes, of course, Israel also targeted military posts, but the question remains, is it legal to bomb other countries' military installations, especially the air defense systems, as Israel did yesterday? Among the many posts that Israel targeted in Damascus and Homs, only one post belongs to Hezbollah in Homs. So the Israeli narrative that Iran and Hezbollah pose threat to Israel from Syria is not accurate because one, Homs is in central Syria and not near the borders with the occupied Golan Heights, and two, most of the targets were Syrian, not Iranian or Hezbollah. This attack, just like the tens of attacks before, will not be reported accurately by the mainstream media, and there will be no urgent UN Security Council meeting to condemn Israel. Israel simply enjoys impunity that no other country has. Now, as for the people calling for military retaliation against Israel, I will ask you a simple question. Do you think it is wise for a country A to go to war with country B, while country A is already in a huge war fighting against global terrorism, and if it goes to another war, the entire Western world, plus most Arab countries, will stand with country B?
في حدا صار له شيء عندك؟ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. في حدا؟ تعالوا يا شباب! سيارة إسعاف بسرعة! عجلوا بسرعة! 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 وينك؟ الله أكبر! يا رب! بسم الله! خلي يجيب سيارة الأطفال لهون! سيارة الأطفال بسرعة! بسرعة سيارة الأطفال تفوت! في ناس على سيارة الأطفال يا شباب! سيارة الأطفال خلت تقدم! يا شباب سيارة تفوت! سيارة إسعاف سيارة الأطفال تفوت لجوا! سيارة خليها تفوت. في شباب متصوبة. والكوفيسون متصوبة. الله أكبر. يا رب. يا شباب، وين الأخوة يا شباب على السيارة جوا؟ في شباب متصوبة. خلي السيارة تيجي. يا رب. لكن انا بحزنهم. وين؟ وين؟ سيارتي غرقت فيك. السيارة هي اللي قلبي. الأولاد. في ولد صغير. وينه؟ هيك اهو. وينه؟ يا الله. 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 في زلمة ميت. في اثنين. يا الله. يا الله. يا الله. الله أكبر. يا رب. يا الله. يا الله. يا الله. يا رب. يا الله. يا الله. يا الله. يا رب. يا رب. يا الله. يا الله. سيح 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 سيح. يا الله. يا رب. يا رب. بدكم انا صحيح. يا الله. في شهداء يا شباب. في شهداء يا شباب. يا رب. سيارة الإسعاف وين؟ يا شباب. بس هذا عايش الولد. هات. ايه عايش. تعال شيك. في شباب جوا بعد جوا. لك الصبي خذه. حطه هون. على مهلك عليه. امسكوا اطلعوا من قدام. يا شباب في شهداء جوا يا شباب. جبت ولد من جوا. يا شباب في شباب جوا.
And while 2/3 of our people are going to celebrate that folly, the 4th of July, war was in his heart. You know, this so-called illusion of America being the place of freedom and all that, but at what cost? And is it really free? No, you work all day to get papers to buy rights that you should actually have. So you shifted from being well, you are still enslaved. There's no doubt about that. But you've shifted from that to getting papers. You work all day to get your papers to go buy some rights. You know, we used to have that in the school system. You get like paper bucks, and then you'd buy things, you know, every month and a half or so at a swap meet. You know, people bring their stuff to sell at the school. Well, that's pretty much what it is, man. But you're enslaved. You're a part of that system. You know, you work your fucking ass off just to get the papers so you can buy things at the supermarket. That's not the way that a kingdom should be run. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rukal Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Joachim that's out there on the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Braga the Yahweh, Braga the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rukal Kadash, Braga Thumb. Wah ba ba ba, most of all, because here's what's happening, though. While people are going to celebrate that folly, the 4th of July, they pretty much, they're just totally in bliss, man. They just love their slavery. And, man, you're supposed to hate this place and hate everything that it does. So, now we're seeing the aftermath of that terrorist attack, because that's what Amalek is, the terrorist, and what they had actually done.
At least 4 Syrian civilians, including a baby, have been killed in an Israeli missile attack near the capital Damascus. More than 20 others were also injured in the attack in the town of Sahnaya, south of the capital. Earlier, Syrian media said that the country's air defense shot down several missiles over Damascus. A military source says that Israeli warplanes fired the missiles from Lebanon's airspace. The western city of Homs was also targeted. The Israeli regime launches airstrikes on the Syrian territory from time to time. Journalist and political commentator Richard Silverstein believes that the Israeli assault in Syria is part of the regime's aggressive policy in the region.
This is, if so, an escalation in which Israel is actually directly confronting the Assad regime. And it makes a lie to Israel's claims that it is neutral in the conflict in Syria, and it makes clear that it is an implacable opponent of the Assad regime, in addition to opposing Hezbollah and Iran as well. The world media has been falsely claiming that Israel has been maintaining a neutrality in this matter, and there is no neutrality there. This is part and parcel of Israel's aggression against the frontline states, its neighbors, aggression against Lebanon and against Syria and against Palestinians within Israel or in Israel-Palestine itself. So it's just part and parcel of an overly aggressive stance that Israel takes towards all Arab regimes.
And that's just it, though, is this war is just going to continue on and on. And anybody joining the military, the 2/3 that are joined unto Esau, pretty much they're fighting for the Greater Israel Project. And what is the Greater Israel Project? That is to pretty much control that entire Gulf region. But it is the Most High that's drawing them into this war, so he can kill you 2/3, so he can kill all you, because he's going to plead for his people, which is the real Yasha'Allah, not these fake-ass fucking Jews, which, they're not even the real ones. They're just nothing but converts. As Brother Malcolm has shown you in videos, as the truth is out there, man, that they're nothing but a bunch of converts. You cannot change your nationality to something else. You're either of that nationality or you are not. But you can join a religion. Judaism is nothing more than a cult. Just like being a part of the Cabal is nothing but the cult. Madonna, who we know is not born over there, but she's a member of the Cabal. And she explained it in an interview a long time ago, that she's a part of the Kabbalah, which is the Illuminati, which is not so secret anymore. So this is really about the oil, and like everything else, though, Magog is going to be a guard thou unto them, especially Iran, because, you see, Amalek wanted the removal of Saddam Hussein, got it, and they're still pushing for the removal of Bashar al-Assad. Remember how this whole aggression started. We want Assad to step down. And, of course, Libya was forgotten. They wanted Muammar Gaddafi removed. Why? Because they wanted to start trading outside the U.S. dollar. Gaddafi had his own currency, and he was actually going back to the gold standard. So that's the big reason there, that they had Gaddafi and Saddam removed. And, of course, they wanted Assad removed for very similar reasons. Because, of course, the pipeline, and like everything else, though, they've been after Iran, because Persia versus Amalek, Persia versus Edom has been around for a long time. When we was under the captivity of Persia, man, we was actually doing pretty good, even though we were still underneath that. We were like royals, and we was putting a herd on Esau and Amalek. Nonetheless, though, pretty much Magog has stepped in and being a guard now unto him. Check this one out.
The Russian energy minister says that members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries back extending the current production limits for 9 months. Alexander Novak made a comment on the sidelines of the OPEC ministerial meeting in Vienna, where he also talked with Iranian oil minister Bijan Zanganeh. After the meeting, Novak took a swipe at the U.S. sanctions on Iranian oil exports. He said that Moscow wants Iran to remain an equal player in the global energy market. Zanganeh had warned that Europe's OPEC status collapse over hostility of some members toward Iran. He said that Tehran has no problem with the output cuts, but they should be decided within the organization, in reference to the Saudi attempt to bypass OPEC by seeking an output cut deal with Russia. Our correspondent Malinsky has provided us with some details about the OPEC summit in the Austrian capital, Vienna.
We are waiting for the press conference once the meeting is officially over. As you said, the expectation is that the OPEC ministers will all agree to an extension of the current deal up to 9 months, which means that these production cuts will continue until March 2020. And this decision, as you said, was announced even before OPEC ministers actually came down to discuss it by Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, following the 20th summit. And this is something that did raise criticism, especially from Iran. The Iranian oil minister said that he wants to put OPEC back on track. He didn't specifically name Russia or Saudi Arabia, but the suggestion was that if this kind of process continues where decisions are made outside of OPEC and also officially announced, then this will only serve to weaken OPEC. He said for Iran right now, 2 things are important. One is to continue to be able to export barrels, to export as much oil as is possible under the current situation and extreme pressure from the U.S. sanctions, of course, and on the other, to insist on preserving the existence of OPEC. Right now, this production cut, I'll just add, is meant, of course, to keep prices high, to stop them from falling. This is because, of course, of increased U.S. shale production, and this has been happening since 2017.
And that's just it, though, is really, truly, though, this is about the oil pipeline, because let's face it, Gomer, Iraq, Syria, and Iran, better known as Persia, they already have that pipeline going the way that they want it to. So this is the biggest reason why this war is happening, because they really want the pipeline to go up through Saudi Arabia onto Gomer. But Gomer's no longer on board with the U.S. plan. No, they are now siding with Magog. And the funny thing about that is, so is the EU. Okay, the EU is against this war of aggression against Iran. And that's going to lead to the 10 horns hating the whore and burning her with fire. And we look so forward to that. Because we know in prophecy, and in the end you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places, famines, pestilences. You know the line. Well, this is in the part of earthquakes in diverse places. In other words, strange weather patterns. And we know there's been a lot of altercations of the weather lately. Very strange weather indeed. It doesn't even get dark until about 9:30 at night. This is very unusual. It should already be dark by about 8:30. So, you know, a lot of strange weather patterns. Well, the Most High is still judging the Northern Kingdom here as we're looking at something else. And Dabu 7 said it, man. He knows that this is a biblical prophecy. Check this out.
You talk about a sign of the times and a sign of freak weather. The residents in Guadalajara, Mexico, waking up yesterday after being hammered by 2 meters of hailstones that piled up on the streets overnight. And they're saying that the temperatures down there have been normal. Normal summer temperatures around 31 degrees Celsius. And then out of nowhere, this massive amount rains down. Now look at this. This guy's he's in like a little bobcat here, plowing this stuff. This is all from what they're saying was hailstones. Now, I've had a lot of questions pop up in regards to this, like, if this is all hailstones, how come it's not melting? If it's right back up into 70s, 80s, how come this stuff isn't melting there in the street? Now, some argue that some of it may. Others are saying that it all should have melted off rather quickly. Is it just hail? A lot of questions. And this is just absolutely freak. I'd like to see the weather patterns, some models, and some stuff showing what's set up in the atmosphere and dumped this on this region, because this is just massive. I will leave a link below. If you guys got anything like this out there, let me know. Dabu7yahoo.com. Make sure to follow me on DLive for more.
And that's just it, though, is you know that they're using chemtrails, and you know that they're doing altercations to the weather. They're doing altercations to everything. That's what this devil does. We know that Venezuela for quite a while was a testing ground. Well, now they're testing it on Mexico. You know, pretty much, though, we know that that wall is really built not to so-called block illegals from coming in, but block what you would call the illegals. Because when you're escaping the prison system of America, say you're a convicted felon, and you're escaping to Mexico, well, there you go. It shall not open the house out to its prisoners, right? So it's shutting it in, because once you have any felonies whatsoever, you're not allowed to leave the country. Sounds like enslavement to me. But people are still going to go fight or go celebrate that folly, the 4th of July, you know. And in the meantime, while all that's going on, we've been doing a house cleaning here at Great Millstone. And I had said this months ago, you know, that when I had seen that that door closed, I said, well, now they're going to have to do a house cleaning to get those bug outs out of Great Millstone. Find out who's on fire and who's not. And that's exactly what's happening right now.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the elder apostles of the Great Millstone who will that taught us this truth, and much love, greetings, and salutations to all the fellow laborers of the tabernacle of David, though for elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And you should know by now that at Great Millstone, you know, we have an order, or we have a standard that we must walk by. And if you can't come up under that order, then I suggest that you find another camp or just go do your own thing. And even if you come into Great Millstone, if you feel like you could do your own thing and you don't have to come up under no order, you don't have to follow protocol, then hey, just skedaddle, man. Adios. Okay? Just keep it pushing, man. Because there is a standard that you have to follow here at Great Millstone. But it seems like guys don't get it, and they don't know what they're really participating in. You think you could just come in here and just do what the hell you want to do without order? Hey, Yahweh Shai, he said he is the door. And there's no other way you can come in except you be a thief. But guess what? The Lord also left doorkeepers that he left in the trust of the gospel. And if you can't get with those men as they give you the ordinances, then just acknowledge, just admit that this isn't for you, man. If it's ever in your spirit that you don't have to follow ordinances and come up under order in this thing, then just admit that this isn't for you, man. Quit wasting your time. All right? If you ain't, hey, Great Millstone, we're about order here, man. Starting with the elder apostles, that's what they taught us, man. Okay? They have a standard that they go by. And if you can't go by that standard, then you're not Great Millstone, point blank, period, man. All right? Now let me stop ranting and let me just get the scriptures. You know, this is just on my spirit, man. And I'm kind of getting agitated with, you know, certain things that I'm hearing, you know, through the spirit, man. All right? We ain't got a lot of time left, man. Yahweh Shai is on his way. This is Galatians 6, starting at verse 16. It says, but the Most High forbid that I should glory, save in the cross of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, by whom the world is crucified unto me, and I unto the world. For in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision, but a new creature. So off the bat, when you come into this, you got to put that old man away. He's done. You got to mortify him. You got to kill him off, because that old man, he was corrupted according to his former lust. All right, and one thing about who we were before we came into the truth is we really didn't have a lot of guidance and direction. A lot of us didn't have the luxury of living with both our mother and our fathers. You were raised by your mother. What order did your mother teach you? She didn't teach you order, man. So when you come into this thing, you learn how to be a man, because your mother didn't teach you. She doesn't know how to teach you how to be a man. Okay? So that's why you have guardians. That's why you have elders. You have spiritual fathers to teach you and guide you in the way so that you could become a man. Let's get I think it's 1 Corinthians. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 1 Corinthians 11, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can find it. Or it might be 1 Corinthians 13. Let me get it real quick. Yeah, here we go. This 1 Corinthians 13 and verse 11. It says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. All right, and this is your former the former man, the old creature. All right, you was childish, man. You was emotional. It says, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. And one of the things that when you become a man is you understand that there's structure, there's order, man. Let all things be done decently and in order. You're not going to be too emotional to act like you don't have to come up under no authority, man. You understand the importance of structure, man. So you got to become a new creature. That means becoming a new man, putting off the old man and becoming the new, being transformed in the renewing of your mind. The world they don't teach you that, man. And I'm gonna say this too, man. Certain brothers, and this is just, this ain't to a specific brother. This is just, because hey, I cuss myself out as well when I make these videos. Hey, I'm cussing myself out too. But brothers, it's like as if in this world, you're willing to do more for this world than you'll do for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. You'll do more for your employer, your job, more than you'll do for the ministry of the Lord, man. Jacob followed the ordinances of Esau. You'll wear your seatbelt. You'll make sure you 10, 15 minutes. You'll make sure you hella early at your job. So that you can clock in on time. But brothers gotta wait 15, 20 minutes for you to show up to camp. It shouldn't be like that, man. You'll show up to the job interview with Nimrod's penis hanging down your neck, your button up tucked in, beard just lined up. You got the John B. Chin strap, sharp edges. You'll do that to be professional for Esau, break the commandment. But then when it comes to following order, you just disregard that. Like the elder apostles are just some regular, just some old men, some old grumpy men that just trying to control your life or something, man. All right. The Most High is gonna deal with guys, man. That's why the Most High is removing dudes from a great millstone, and it's also the spirit that the elder apostle months back. He shut down Great Millstone. No new members. Nobody come in. That's through the spirit, man. Because really, Great Millstone is under maintenance right now, man. If you can spiritually see what's going on, guys are losing their minds. You know, how many times do the elder apostles gotta, put out videos cussing brothers out because they can't fucking stop putting that razor to the edge of their damn head, man, or making their heads bald. Totally out of order, man. All right. So continuing on, it says, and as many as walk according to this rule, peace be on them and mercy upon the Israel of the Most High. All right, and those that walk according to this rule, that's the elect. They're gonna walk according to the rule. Now, what is the rule? You look up the word real quick, and you see the Greek word is kanon. All right, kanon, and it says a rod or straight piece of rounded wood to which anything is fastened to keep it straight, used for various purposes. A measuring rod. All right, and basically, you're being measured according to the oracles, man, the word, what's required of you according to the gospel, man. Okay, and if you can't hold up to the measure or the rule that's laid before you, then you're not really fit to be a part of this thing, man. Okay, it says a carpenter's line or measuring tape, the measure of a leap, as in the Olympic Games, a definitely bounded or fixed space within the limits of which one's power or influence is confined. The province assign one sphere of activity. Metaphorically, any rule or standard, a principle or law of investigating, judging, living, acting. Okay? We have a standard here, man. And you're going to be judged according to that standard. Are you doing your videos, man? If you're doing less than 3 videos, then guess what? You're not measuring up to the rule, to the standard. Because that's the standard that the men who the Lord set up has laid down, man. If you can't, if that's what you can't do, you can't measure up to that, you can't meet those requirements, then hey, you're not great millstone, man. And if you on the other side and you listening and you feel like, oh, that's yeah, I can't measure up to that. I'm not going to even, why should I have to do that? I could just just go on my own and do my own thing. I ain't got to be up under that pressure. And this is light as hell, man. That's light. Okay. But hey, if you want to do your own thing, do your own thing, man. But just know that the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, all right, because there's only one way through. All right, there's only one way through. So let me go out of there real quick and let me get another scripture. Let's get 1 Thessalonians 5 and 12. It is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 12. It says, and we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Lord and admonish you. Okay? Who are those that are over you? Well, you got the camp heads, you got the elders, and you have the apostles who are over all of Great Millstone. Okay? So you have to esteem those men. Understand that those men, they watch over you. They watch over your soul. So that's why the scriptures say, obey them that have the rule over you. All right? But guys come in, with that worldly mentality, like, man, I don't have to answer to no man. And that's when you become self-willed and unruly, man. You become fractious, man. And that fractious spirit has no place within the body, man. All it does is going to cause more schism. Okay? Let me get Hebrews 13 and 17. It says, obey them that have the rule over you and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. All right. And that's the men that are up over you, man. So sometimes they're going to admonish you, and sometimes they're even going to rebuke you. They're going to cuss you out. Sometimes it ain't going to be pleasant. But it's because they're watching over you. They're trying to pull you out the fire, man. Do you want life or do you want death? A rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft, man. Jake hate reproof, and that's why the scriptures say, he that's often reproved harden his neck and shall die, and that without remedy, man. You know? You should be appreciative that you have men that are watching over you, man. You know? Because you could be by yourself. And that's very destructive, man. Let me go from there. 2 Peter, 2nd chapter. This is 2 Peter 2 and verse 9. It says, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust until the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh and the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Okay, you despise order. You hate instruction. You hate being obedient, man. You learn that from your mother, man. Just admit it. You know, that's why guys who don't have fathers in their life, they don't show any type of respect, man. And majority of Jake households, they don't have fathers. So that's why men grow up and they have no respect whatsoever, man. They feel like they ain't got to come up under nobody. You know? You know what happened to all them demons that spoke up, that came against Moses in the wilderness? They didn't make it out, man. You know? They were complaining, they were murmuring, whispering. And the Most High wiped the majority of them out. Don't think that the Most High ain't gonna do that again. It says, presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities, man. Okay? Presumptuous, that means that you're arrogant. You're a reprobate, man. You think you're just gonna do whatever you seem fit. Self-willed. And it tells you that a child that's left to himself, I believe that's in Apocrypha, a child that's left to himself will become willful, meaning he'll become stubborn. Let's get the law on that. Deuteronomy 21 and 19. It says, Deuteronomy 21 and 19, it says, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him unto the elders of his city. And Salakia, let me jump up. Deuteronomy 21 and 18, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, or a son that's he's willful, right, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gate of his place. And when they shall say unto the elders of the city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious, he will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard, and all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put away evil from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. So that's why you gotta fear coming against the order of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Because if you revolt, and you become stubborn and rebellious, then you're making yourself an enemy to the Most High, man. Okay, you in a line of fire, man. Your ass could get dropped, man. All right. So you're gonna have men that despise the dominion. They despise, the authority, the order, man. And and those individuals are likened unto this child found in the law, man. Stubborn and rebellious. Can't nobody tell you shit, man. You don't want to communicate with brothers. You gotta get these funny ass haircuts because you want to blend in with the world. You know, guys just play the part, man. You don't want to do your videos. If you got an issue with the order, man, then hey, just hey, man, just exit stage left, man. Okay, just quit wasting space. All right, there's more brothers. There's brothers that's waiting on the outside that can't even get in right now, and they burning, man. I'm pretty sure there's brothers out there that's willing, man, to come up under the order and submit themselves, man, because they really want to serve Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You got guys in Great Millstone that got it real good, and you just chilling back, but you just like, man, I'm gonna just kick my feet up, I'm not gonna do everything necessarily, what's required of me. I'm gonna just get on by. I'm gonna just do the bare minimum. Let me get 1 Peter 5. This is 1 Peter 5 and 4. It says, and when the chief 5. I'm starting at 5. It says, likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yeah, all of you be subject one to another and be clothed with humility. And that's what it takes, man, which a lot of brothers, that's one of the things that, we stress, that you got to have humility, man. And before honor is humility. And that's a missing trait in a lot of dudes who despise order, man. They can't humble themselves. They got too much pride. As soon as they learn a few scriptures, they got all these breakdowns and all these precepts. Then all the humility is just not there, man. That was just pride. We know the scriptures say, knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth. All right, you don't want to be lifted up as a novice, all right, and fall into the condemnation of the devil. And that's what happens all the time, man. The elder apostles, they've seen it numerous times, man. They've been in this thing for so many years, and you don't think that they know when certain guys come in that they can tell through the spirit when certain guys ain't gonna make it, man. And they put out little tests just to basically just to weed some of those type of dudes out. They put the three video a week decree out. Certain guys, they started barking, man. That removed that purged them out. Guys with lineups and bald heads. Now they're basically picking it up, man. Seeing what guys is gonna fold. It's all or nothing with the Most High, man. You're either gonna be hot or you're gonna be cold. There's no in between, man. If you lukewarm, then really that's closer to cold, man. It says, for the Most High resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time. Okay? And it takes integrity, it takes humility, it takes character, man. It also takes faith, because you really believe, here in Great Millstone, hey, that's the standard, man. We believe that the men of the apostles of Great Millstone, that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai set them up. They're the leaders over the nation of Israel, whether you believe it or not, man. And if you can't live with that, if that's something that you have an issue with, then hey, man, you got General Yahanda. He's the commanding general. He feels that nobody, if you don't come through him only, then you're not of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You can go over there with them cats and rub elbows with a solid netter in them. You can go to IUIC, which they tell you that you have no head. All right, they can rule over you and they can exercise lordship over you. You know, you can't think for yourself. You can't do none of that. They have to do the thinking for you. You can go over there, man. At least you'll have, you know, a bunch of women you can communicate with, a bunch of sisters of Sarah and all that bullshit. You know, the weddings and the luxurious festivities, the concerts. Or you can go over there with GOCC and get dumped in water. You can see the wet shirt competition. You know, women's titties showing through the shirt with their nipples, hard ass nipples showing through the shirt. And watch Bubble Eyes, you know, get his Casey and JoJo on stage. Or here at Great Millstone, what are the standards that they're leaving for you, man? How to be men, how to, you know, and you got to work, you got to become a man. Get you a job, man. Be responsible. You know, learn how to be an asshole when you need to. Austerity, diligence. And let me end off with this, man. I think it's second Timothy, the 3rd chapter. There's a 2 Timothy 3:1. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy." And that's what we're seeing, man. That's what we're seeing. Guys are very unfaithful, man. It's like they're unthankful. Yeah, and they're unfaithful too. Are they showing a lot of incredulity in these last days, man? Disobedient to parents. You know, you can't, and that's why it's a lot of dudes that say double honors to the apostles, man. If you don't really mean it, man, just be the hell quiet, man. Just give all praises to the Most High and through Yahweh Shai, man. If you're not willing to come up under the order, man, and follow the ordinances, then hey, man, then you shouldn't even be giving them double honors, man. If you're not going to respect them as your spiritual parents, then quit saying double honors, man. It says, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, you know, proud, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High. Yeah, you like vainglory. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Okay? And these number of demons are getting on men, man. That's why that's why we all should be examining ourselves, man. If you gotta fast to get these demons off of you, then hey, man, fast. Anoint yourself, man. Pray. Pray that the Lord give you not a proud spirit, man. And that he take not his Holy Spirit from you. All right, because shit is about to, hey, it's about to go. Straight out, it's about to go. Things are lining up in the spirit beautifully right now with concerning prophecy. You don't want to make it thus far and then have to basically fall away right before we hit the finish line, man. All right. So, you know, that, and this is just through the spirit, you know, and this goes for myself as well. Okay. Hey, man, fall in line, man. Get in order. Okay. And if this is not for you, if you hate order, you hate coming up under the rule of men, then hey, go, like I said, go deal with those other camps, man, where you can go and get your 15 minutes of shine, or you can participate in the weddings. You could do all that, man. You could put your music out. You could do what you want to do, man. But here at Great Millstone, it's hands on, man. It's work. Okay. And the elder apostles are trying to show you how to correctly represent Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All right. You don't see no gimmicks here. Everybody know us for basically prophesying and rebuking. That's what Great Millstone is chiefly known for, man. Prophesying and rebuking. All right, and that's what the scriptures say. Be instant in season. Be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine, man. And that's what we ought to do. All right, so I'm gonna leave it with that. Hopefully this was received. Hopefully this edified. The sincere. And I pray Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, cover you brothers and watch over you, man. You know, and hey, pray for Akim, man. All right. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.
As Apostle Tahar puts it, you're either part of Great Millstone or you're not. If you can't take rebuke, which is very simple. It's better you take rebuke now, because you're not going to like the way that Yahweh Shai deals with the situation. You don't want to wait till Yahweh Shai deal with you. No, you'd rather take rebuke now. I mean, I definitely would rather take rebuke now than the ultimate thing, not going on them chariots and being destroyed by Yahweh Shai and the angels. So it's better to take rebuke right now. It's better to take chastening. It's better, but like everything else, though, man, got a lot of bug outs within Great Millstone, and this is a spiritual house cleaning. We already know what the Passover is all about, the Shabbat. So we know that pretty much, though, you gotta prune everything, man. Sorry that the audio's not the greatest on this, but you know how Esau fucks with the streams. Words get cut off. It's all crap, pretty much with live streams, But that's the way that it is, man, pretty much. But we know that we're still using his platform against him. So anyways, I'm just going to let this brother speak. It's short and to the point.
All right, Shalom. Here. Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashur, Alright, step on to my also Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim on the four corners, pushing the truth and sincerity. Alright, love, diligence, transparent, trembling, man. And as you can see the title, folly must be cut. Folly in Israel must be cut out. Okay. Like the apostles have been saying, the fat is being trimmed, alright? The fat is being trimmed because there's too much self-willed niggas doing their own thing, And, in the chat room, discussing certain situations and things that's actually going on in Israel, by the new camp, so to speak, that was just booted out. Just because Jake doesn't want fucking order, man. When you go into that word folly, man, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the Hebrew, it's Nabala'ah, which means profane action. Okay? Profane action. Alright? Anything that's profane, meaning out of the temple. Now, we are bounded by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, through the apostles of Great Millstone. We're binded by certain things that we have to uphold in the spirit. And one of those things is order, man. Okay? You got the scripture, I believe, in Corinthians, says a little leaven leavens the whole lump. Okay? So once little leaven starts to seep in and creep in, man, we gotta hurry up and cut that shit out. Pride, envy and strife amongst the brotherhood. So like you.
So the gist of it is a little leaven the whole lump, which is what we know about the whole reason for the Passover. Again, you see how this devil fucks with the live streams to the point you almost don't hear it and words are cut off. You know, that's why I don't even bother with that fucking piece of shit goddamn phone trying to do live streams. It comes out better, and then I just use Premiere. I mean, that's what I do. Not to mention I couldn't do it anyways. I don't have 1,000 subscribers because they just changed the rules. But when I tried to do live stream last year over at what's now a demolished Sears, man, that was all cutting off. So it's just like, man, the only way to do this now is just to go ahead and record and then upload later. I mean, so Premiere pretty much is another trick. But, man, this devil, man, he hates this truth. Nonetheless, though, 2/3 got to be cut off. And yes, you have a lot of 2/3 even within Great Millstone. That's what this purge is about. Man, you know, this is what's delaying everything, you know, this folly. So you're either in it or you're not in it. Go on to something else. And this one's from the brother Yehowadah.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. Habakkuk 2 and 3, and it reads, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry."
A new deal between Russia and China could be another blow to the U.S. dollar. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping say they will expand use of the ruble and the yuan when it comes to financial trade between the two countries. Russia has also called on Brazil, India, China, and South Africa to use national currencies between BRIC countries, a move which could ease reliance on the U.S. dollar and protect against sanctions. Investigative journalist Ben Swan is following the story and joins us for more. Ben, I'm talking about money, so I got to bring you into this. So
now we're speaking about BRICS, and just for edification purposes, BRICS is, we'll go to what BRICS is. This is BRICS. BRICS is an alliance between the nations, all the nations who are putting their economies together separate of the U.S. These are the nations that are aligned outside of the dollar, because these nations, like many nations on the planet, have done away with the dollar, you know, to back their currency. So BRICS is the acronym coined for an association of 5 major emerging national economies. These are major emerging national economies. And you won't see America on here because these are all the nations that are aligning, you know, to basically start the process of doing away with the dollar. Brazil, that's why it's called BRICS. Brazil, Russia, that's the R in BRICS. I is the India, C is the China, and S is the South Africa. So that's what BRICS stands for. So when the newscast person was saying that, speaking about BRICS, this is what they're talking about. Originally, the first 4 were grouped as BRIC. It says the BRICS members are known for their significant influence on regional affairs. All are members of the G20. The G20 is the great 20 nations. A lot of those nations are the ones that have, you know, nuclear capabilities, you know, nuclear missiles. So when you go down here, it's give a little bit more. In 2015, the 5 BRICS countries represented over 3.1 billion people, or about 41% of the world population. That's also important because that shows you how much manpower, you know, that these economies have. Now look at this. It says as of 2018, these 5 nations have a combined nominal GDP of 18.6 trillion, about 23% of the gross world product. So They have, about a fourth, of the wealth on the planet. Just these 5 nations come together. So I just want to go into that, showing that. I'm gonna get back to the video.
Positive news mostly came out of this weekend for the U.S., except in this case, because you have Russia and China making their own deal regarding currency and the trade between the two countries. So what does this exactly mean for the U.S. dollar?
Well, it's certainly not good for the U.S. dollar on a lot of levels. Look, these BRICS nations that you mentioned, Brazil, South Africa, China, Russia, and India, have been doing this for some time. It's certainly not new. And over the course of about the last decade, those BRICS nations kind of came together with exactly this purpose in mind, to lessen the dependency on the U.S. dollar as a reserve currency, as the world's reserve currency, and to strengthen their own economies. And when it comes to, nationalism, there's a lot of talk about nationalism here in the United States and Trump being a nationalist. But these countries, in terms of nationalism, are just looking out for themselves to say, how can we strengthen our own economies? How can we strengthen our own currencies? And how can we lessen dependency on the U.S. dollar? It's not good for the U.S. dollar, but it is good for those nations' economies.
Okay, for us here at home, though, what is the benefit, though, of having the dollar as the dominant trade currency? Because it doesn't only affect us economically. I think there's some national security factors as well involved.
Well, absolutely. But look, obviously, if you are the world's reserve currency, it brings a lot of stability to your currency above everyone else, which is obviously a huge factor. It's why the U.S. dollar is certainly more stable than a lot of other currencies around the world. Having said that, we continue to watch the devaluation of the dollar take place. But there's also an issue in terms of how the U.S. is able to continue to fund and continually fund wars around the world that are endless, continue to essentially apply so much sanction and economic pressure on other countries that we do. It's all because of the U.S. dollar being the world's reserve currency. It gives us a certain level of power that other countries don't have. And so it funds our military, yes, but it's also the leverage that we use against so many other countries around the world. If you lose that status as the world's reserve currency, you don't have the same kind of leverage that you once had.
But does that mean that we don't have to pay for the wars either, and we don't necessarily have to be the world's police keeper? I mean, I'm going to find some way to make this positive.
Let's just start there.
Okay, well,
we're never going to pay for these wars. That's never going to happen.
Well, and we saw over these past 2 months with the issues going on in Venezuela and other countries, the gold standard, something that the U.S. dollar has not been based off on for decades, that more countries are starting to build up gold. Any chance that we could have gold actually become a worldwide, to actually be the currency used?
I don't think so, as long as the U.S. has authority over it, because we don't hold near as much gold as other countries. That would be terrible for the U.S. dollar. If gold were the backing for the world's reserve currency, China is way ahead of us in terms of that. Libya was way ahead of us in terms of that. Who knows where their gold is now? But the bottom line is, it's not good for us. India would be way ahead of us. I think it's much more likely that digital currency takes over that space as opposed to gold.
Well, real quick, I've got to bring, since you mentioned the digital currency this weekend at the G20, going into, a lot of people were talking about what role was there going to be in an international policy about policing digital currency. Did that happen this weekend at the G20, and what was it?
Well, I think there's a lot of talk about it. The problem is who controls that, and governments never like the idea of the thing that makes cryptocurrency great is something called decentralization, decentralized currency that people have control over. What government, Scotty, likes the idea of a decentralized currency that they do not control? China's not going to like that. Russia's not going to like it. The U.S. doesn't like it. India doesn't like it. So I think what everyone's looking at doing is, how do they control the positives of digital currency without what they would see as the negatives of decentralization?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what kind of conversations went on. Those are the kind of things that happen in the back room that don't necessarily come out in the notes from the press bowl. Thank you so much for joining us, Ben.
Hey.
So you heard digital currency. Now I got one more video that I want to play showing what it said.
The most cutting-edge thing about Hannes Sjöblad isn't the phone in his hand, it's the microchip actually in his hand. The tiny implant is the latest advance in a biohacking technology that is steadily becoming a part of normal life in Sweden.
We have created a new implant, which is not a chip, it's a full device where you can add different lights, different vibration, different functions. Sweden is a very tech-literate society. And I think this is the main explanation, really, why a lot of Swedes are adopting chip implants.
Swedes haven't been shy about upgrading themselves with the new version. Thousands already have microchip implants that they use in their daily lives, waving their hand to gain entrance to the gym, confirm their ID or make payments. A short moment of pain not putting them off becoming part Swede, part machine.
This event is an implant party, simply where ordinary people can show up and get a microchip embedded under their skin. The biohacking movement in Sweden is hosting them all over Europe, but it's at home where they get the most willing recipients.
I think it's really cool. You don't have to carry any keys or anything. It's just your body. In maybe 10 years, everything will be in your hand.
In Sweden more than anywhere else, the future is already here. The national train company SJ has around 2,600 people signed up to use microchips instead of train tickets.
Did you see that?
And no need to mind the generation gap. 18-year-old Felicia and Father Magnus still bear the scars of their new implants. Student Hannah Herving is also freshly chipped and now just needs to program it to open doors. Although, importantly for a future career, it does already connect to her LinkedIn.
Some people say I'm mad that I don't know if it's safe and all that, but people have been putting these chips into animals for 20 years, so I'm not worried about that.
The long-term goal is for the new chips to help provide medical care in remote communities. They're already getting under the skin of the Swedes. They may soon become just another normal part of modern life and of the human body. Paul Rees, Al Jazeera, Lund, Sweden.
We're going to go back into the scripts. Bring one major script. It's kind of self-explanatory. You know, the chip parties are still going on. Sweden is pushing it to the rest of Europe, which these are the Edomites who are pushing this. I wanted to show that. Here it is. Now this is in the scriptures what we just saw. You got the nations aligning together against America. You know, and then you have the digital currency. The first video said that digital currency is going to be the new currency, you know, which is going to be in place of gold, you know, and this is in the Bible. So we're living in these times where this is actually starting to happen. And here it is, Revelation 13 and 16, and it reads, and he calls it all. Who is he? You know, who is he? That's the one who rules the world. Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the wicked of the earth, the Edomites, who are controlling everything, controlling the international banking elite, you know, the military power they got, they control the world. The Edomites, so-called white people, and right here in Babylon, the Illuminati, you know, the shadow government, along with, they're the ones who call the true shots, you know, and then down onto the regular government. But the shadow government, those who, the multi-trillionaires, not million and billionaires, multi-trillionaires, you know, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, you know, those guys. Revelation 13 and 16, and he calls it all. That's who he is, both small and great, no matter who you are. If you are, you know, a movie star, an actor, an athlete, an entertainer, it says all, both small and great, whether you're great in the society or known as somebody, or whether you're a so-called nobody, whether you're a homeless person on the streets, it don't matter. Small and great, rich and poor, those who have much or have little, free and bond, whether you're in jail or whether you're so-called free, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. We brought it out before. That word mark goes into the word charagma, the Greek word charagma, which means something that's inserted inside of you. We just saw that, you know. We just saw that with the chip parties. The Edomites pushing that. And that no man might buy or sell. So after you get this chip in you, which is what's coming, you won't be able to buy or sell save he that have the mark, unless you got the RFID chip. Clear as day, we can see that. Or the name of the beast, because If you take the mark, then that's you being branded by the beast. The beast is the system. You know, the Edomites, you know, is their system of government, their way of life, or the number of his name. So there you go. So you won't be able to buy or sell unless you get the mark of the beast. That's in the Bible, showing you what's going on right before your very eyes. Is biblical prophecy playing out. We're in the latter days. So whether people believe that or not, you know, it doesn't change the fact that prophecy is here and prophecy is happening right now. So the vision is yet for an appointed time. You know, we'll go back to that script. Salakia. Go back to that script. I'm going to end it off with that. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end, we're at the end. How do we know that? It shall speak. It's showing us. It's speaking. It's actually happening. Everything that was said was going to happen is actually going on now. We see it real time and not lie, because there's no lie, because what was said before that was going to happen is actually happening now. So it's not lying. Though it tarried, it seemed like it took some time. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So even in the times we're in now, to all you Akim and a few Aquafium, you know, the times we're in now, you know, is the times of having faith and holding on to that faith, because we're getting ready to hit the tunnel, and that tunnel is Jacob's trouble. It's right here. You know, we're not going to be here another 15, 20 years talking about this. You know, the famine of the word is upon us. So with that, I hope that was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem B'Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, the true teachers of Israel today. Peace and blessings be to the hopeful elect, the 144,000, the house of David. Habayath, Madawadah. I say shalom.
And those that put microchips into pets, man, you know, I fucking condemn them, man. You know, but again, only a sick fuck would actually do that, you know. Now, it's one thing that you got, you know, you went and you got a pet from a shelter and it had a microchip in there. But it's another to personally chip a pet, you know. And, you know, you got to be a sick fuck. For one, it causes cancer in them. And for those that are taking the mark, you know, well, you gotta be a fucking retard. I mean, that's just fucking going fully retard. Knowing how much this man has lied about everything, falsified everything, and yet you want to take his mark, you know? You believe in his fucking technology and shit. You've gotta be a full fucking retard. Okay, so part of this war, you know, as we know, well, it's happening now, you know, and this is over currency, and that's why they want to get everything over to digital currency. And you know who's going to be running that? Rothschilds, you know, pretty much the banking elite. So this is from Zero Hedge. OPEC fail. Oil prices plunge despite production cut deal. As OPEC Plus proudly announces it is extending its production cuts into 2020 while desperately talking down U.S. shale production in a last-ditch attempt to support prices, the slew of dismissal manufacturing data in the last 24 hours has sparked selling in oil. Although a truce has been called between U.S. and China, global manufacturing is in very bad shape, said Tomas Varga, an analyst at brokerage PVM Oil Associates Limited. So pretty much, though, you know, as you know, that China has been devaluing its currency. We already spoke before about how they are purposely using fake money, because that's all this thing is a fiat system. You know, money ain't even real, you know, it's all fake anyways. But nonetheless, though, that's what's going on here. And there's another article I picked up from Anti-Media. Slovakia advance, if there's pop-ups on here, I know that this thing is totally fucked. But anyways, this is about Venezuela. Months after failing coup, Venezuela's losing patience with Guaido. You know, because that whole thing is nothing more than a scam. You know. New reports suggest that some Venezuelans, which we know is the tribe of Asher, who supported Guaido are growing impatient with the whole regime change idea. Yeah, because they were fucking sellouts to begin with, but now they're not so on board with it. You know, they're like, man, fuck this guy. And his support is starting to dry up. as it becomes increasingly apparent that Maduro will retain power. That's right. The U.S.-backed coup idea didn't work, and that was effectively the only real plan they had. Unilaterally declaring regime change was clearly never going to work. Yeah, because Magog's been a guard unto them. And since Guaido wasn't even running for president in the last election, failing to get the military to overturn the vote was really his last major shot. The Venezuelan public is catching up to something. President Trump apparently figured out a while ago, as indicators are that he was already getting bored of the Venezuela issue because of the lack of progress. Well, as if he makes the fucking decisions anyways. And more rumor of war. This is coming from Press TV. Trump should realize that Iranians becoming more united in the face of U.S. bullying, says Lajani. So pretty much, Persia, they're united as a country. They're not divided amongst themselves. And you could honestly say, though, that Syria really ain't divided. It's just that you got terrorist groups now controlling regions. The Syrians are pretty much united with Assad, too, and want the terrorists out of their fucking country. The same thing that way Persia is. But they're going to have a hard time with Persia. Saddam Hussein, who had these chemical weapons and all kinds of modern warfare, couldn't even do it. So, you know as well as I do that the U.S. and its allies, which is only Amalek, are going to lose because the allies are not going to be on the U.S. side against Iran. Iran's parliament speaker, Ajay Lajov, says the United States needs to realize that bullying tactics will only lead the Iranian people to close their ranks and stand more united in the face of America's hostilities. Lajani made the remarks on Tuesday's ceremony marking the 31st anniversary of the downing of an Iranian passenger plane by a U.S.-guided missile cruiser in the Persian Gulf waters. Yeah, and that was totally a terrorist attack against Iran. Brought to you by the whore Babylon the Great, under Israeli control, aka Amalek, the least the flock. Alright, here's more. The problem with Americans is that they are not well familiar with the Middle East and the Iranian nation. And imagine if they send a handful of warships to the region, they can break the will of the nations, but Iranians show that they have a united resolve, he said. Lajani also denounced the anti-Iran policies adopted by the administration of Donald Trump, adding that experts with a different viewpoints inside Iran have today come to the conclusion that America harbors enmity toward the Islamic Republic. And again, this is a country that's actually united, and so is Syria, so is Iraq. Iraq wants America out. Libya wants America out. But you're never going to be shown that in the news. No, you're going to be shown that all these opposition groups. Listen, those opposition groups aren't even the fucking people of that nation. They are Edomites. Kurds are Edomites. They are fucking part of Great Britain and have the British accent along with the Arab accent. They speak both fluently. Because, of course, you know as well as I do that that's how Esau gets in. And he controls them terror groups. You mean to tell me that the U.S. Marines on an ISIS soldier tattoo is just coincidence? No, man, these fucking terrorist groups are nothing more than goddamn fucking Edomites. And this is all going to backfire. And it's going to be fun to watch. So just getting back to the scriptures here, man. This is about to happen, we know that this is the year Karagma, and we know that Esau is very much pushing the chip, especially Sweden over there, which is part of the beast, which is the UN and the EU is pushing that, and it's happening over here too, pretty much, we know that all states had to comply with the Real ID system. So they're getting that ready because, of course, America is not the leader in technology. Fuck no, it isn't, man. America sucks, man. I can just talk about Reading alone, man. There was a storm of wind, and the fucking goddamn motherfucking electric wires are still hanging down from that storm. These fucking goddamn Edomites are so fucking lazy. They took almost 3 or 4 months just to goddamn clean up the brush from the storm. And meanwhile, they have not tightened the electric poles or anything, man. These wires are just hanging all down and all that. So America is very far behind the technological part of it. So they're just, they've been slowly putting the chips into cards, and they got you used to it by putting chips in your pet. And like I said, you got to be a sick fuck to put a chip into a pet. I don't even see how 2/3 could even want to do that. But they're so fucking brainwashed anyways. They'll believe anything this man tells them. They believe the image of Caesar Borgia, though we've been on the streets showing you what his true biblical image is. No, man, it's just like Good Times, man. Oh, well, that picture's been in my family for years, so I'm going to go with this one because that's the picture that I know. Even though JJ had actually given you an illustration on what Yahweh Shai looked like, even though they were still calling by the name of Jesus Christ. That's another thing. People don't want to call upon his name, and the name has everything to do with that, which leads to the next video. But nonetheless, though, getting back to this, you got to be a fucking retard to fucking take that chip. So, in this last hour, when Babylon the Great is destroyed, this is what's going to happen, and this angel is going to come in the form of them chariots, Revelation chapter 14 and verse 6, and it reads, "And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people." Which pretty much also, is this message that we've been putting out there. Saying with a loud voice, "Fear Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and give glory unto him. For the hour of his judgment is come." And that's, again, when this is about to happen, within that same hour that Damascus is destroyed, the same hour that Edom is destroyed. "And worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters." Also, that angel will be speaking that in the Hebrew tongue. Because we're going to understand our language, and we're going to be speaking our language fluently. We're no longer going to have these bastard tongues. Because that's what English is. It's a bastard tongue. "And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." All these fucking policies and bullshit. Pretty much everybody's bought into America's bullshit. And of course, LGBTQ month, a lot of nations are falling into that too. "The third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image," which, again, I just pretty much was very descriptive of that, but this is the bigger one, "and receiveth his mark in his forehead or in his hand," talking about that microchip, "the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation." What's that talking about? The thermonuclear missiles. "And he shall be tormented with fire in the presence of the holy angels," which is talking about the smoke. Getting into the next verse. "And in the presence of the Lamb," because Yahweh Shai is going to be on the bigger chariot, and then you're going to have a lot of angels on them other chariots. "And the smoke of a torment ascended up forever and ever." That's when this final thing goes off. "And they have no rest day or night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name." And, well, we already know what that mark is, that microchip, that implantable microchip. "Here's the patience of the saints," that is the elect. Because, first of all, to be a saint, you have to be an Israelite, and you also have to be keeping the commandments. "Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and the faith of Yahweh Shai," which pretty much endured to the end. It didn't buy into this shit. Was willing to do whatever they could to not buy into it, So, hopefully this has all been edifying, now getting into the next video here. And for everything else, man, don't take that microchip, because you are fucked if you do. I want to say Broccoli Yahweh, Broccoli Yahweh Shai, Bashir Mukakadash, Brakatum, Wa Ababa Ball. But also keep in mind, though, you have to keep the commandments of Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and the faith of Yahweh Shai. That's what you're going to have to do if you are to escape this judgment.
All right, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. All the praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Harakah Kodash. Also want to give double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and honors to all you fellow laborers that are kicking this word in sincerity and in faith. Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Harakah Kodash, Barakatham, all you sincere listeners. All right, so I want to go into a lesson entitled, The Name is a Part of the Doctrine That Will Save You. And that's based off of the book of First Timothy, the 4th chapter. So I'm going to go into it. All right, this is the book of First Timothy, chapter 4, verse 15. Meditate upon these things. Give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Yeah, so it says take heed or pay attention to thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them, right? So we have to continue in the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. That's right. So that's why it's so important to have the correct doctrine, because more and more we're running across different jakes that know that they're Israelites, which that's a beautiful thing to know that you're an Israelite, to know that the kingdom of heaven is for you, that all nations are going to be in subjection, pretty much the honey, the sweetness. Yet there's more to it than you just knowing that you're an Israelite. You have to have the correct doctrine. Because I had, and this is becoming more and more common. This past weekend, I had an interaction with a Jake, and he was following GOCC, and we were rapping a little bit. He was asking if we could have a fellowship, but really we can't, because we have two different doctrines. We believe in two different doctrines, and the doctrine includes the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. That's vital, because there's no other name given, like it says here in Acts the 4th chapter, Acts 4:11. This is the stone which was set at naught of you builders. It's talking about Yahweh Shai when you read up. This is the stone which was set at naught of you builders, which has become the head of the corner. That's right, the chief cornerstone. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name, right? Name, not names, under heaven given among men, whereby we must be saved. That's right. So only one name. And that's the prophecy when you go to the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter. And the name is a part of the doctrine which will save you. Zechariah 14:9, and the Lord Yahweh shall be king over all the earth. And that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one. That's right, in his name one. So you can't call on Ahiah, and then call on Yahweh. There's only one name, and his name is Yahweh, and it's plain to see. If the Lord have given you the spirit to see, and the ears to understand. This is the book of Proverbs 30:4. Who have ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who have gathered the wind in his fist? Who have bound the waters in a garment? Who have established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? That's right. What is his name, and what is his son's name? Which this right here proves that Yahweh Shai was always known of. Because why else would it say this in the book of Proverbs? What is his name, and what is his son's name? Right, the only begotten son, because Yahweh created Yahweh Shai, and all things that we see They're created by Yahweh Shai under the orders of Yahweh. And Yahweh Shai created these things with the help of the angels, which are the elect. Okay, and what is his son's name if thou canst tell? Yeah, so this is vital to your salvation. Like it says again in the book of Acts, the 4th chapter, you have to know that name. What is his name and what is his son's name? Neither is there salvation in any other, right? You can't be saved outside of believing in Yahweh Shai because he's set up as the mediator. There is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Yeah, so these names are essential to your salvation, and that's a part of the doctrine. It's the book of St. John. 17. Let me see. Should I go to St. John 15? Bear with me real quick. This is the book of there it is. St. John 15 and 16. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. Right. So this is a part of the doctrine. The name, asking of the Father in the name of the Son, he may give it to you. So this is a part of the doctrine that we're supposed to take heed to. And the elect are going to have the name. This is the book of Sirach 17 and 10. I'll start at 9. He gave them to glory in his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding. And the elect shall praise his holy name. Right, name, and that's singular. So the elect is going to praise the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Because that's a part of the doctrine. And you're not supposed to accept anyone who doesn't come in with this doctrine. 2 John verse 10. If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. That's right. So you can't receive somebody into the church if they don't believe in the doctrine. And the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are a part of the doctrine. If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. Yeah, so now you're supposed to be cool and fellowshipping with people like that, man. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds. Yeah, and you calling on the names of other gods, that's really evil. And it's punishable by death. Now the Jake, he was cool, he was respectful, he was asking questions, which is good. Yet if he doesn't come out of that, the Lord's going to ultimately, the true Lord Yahweh is going to destroy him, man. And these other Israelite groups don't really push the fear of the Lord and for you to be diligent. Because if you're diligent, you're going to see, okay, these are the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. This is a part of the doctrine. I need to believe on these names in order to be saved. A lot of these other groups, they just push that you're an Israelite and that's it. Back during the time that these letters were written, our people as a whole knew that they were Israelites. You did have some of our people that were discontinued. They were referred to as Gentiles. But a lot of our people knew that they were Israelites. And guess what? They were still coming against the doctrine. You had a lot of our people who knew that they were Israelites and they rejected Yahweh Shai and they persecuted Yahweh Shai and the disciples which believed on him, which became apostles. So it's bigger than that, man. You have to have a diligent spirit. In fact, let me grab that real quick, because what he said, which is what I see as common with men who don't have this doctrine, because they're not following the doctrine because they're not diligent. And that's what the man said. He said, well, you know what? I'm not really diligent. He just thought, okay, I can get my house in order and teach my woman and my children to have my house, and that's it. But you have to be diligent. You have to study to show yourself approved, as the scripture said. This is 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High. Right. So when you study, it's to show yourself approved unto the Heavenly Father, because that shows that you actually believe in His word, and that you're seeking Him. That's how you prove to the Heavenly Father that you're seeking Him, by studying, by looking things up. You study, you internalize it, you believe, and then you go and you teach it. Now, not everybody is a teacher, not everyone is a prophet. There's some who just help in the ministry. Yet still, you're going to have a diligent spirit to study Okay, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. That's right, going precept upon precept, going into different history, filtering it through the scriptures, being edified. So then, when you jump down to verse 24, and the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient, right? And you're only going to be apt to teach if you're studying to show yourself approved. Because that man, and it's not just picking on him, but there's a lot of men like that. They can't properly explain why they believe in what they believe in. They can't properly explain why they believe that the name is this. Okay, well, how do you explain this? Because they're not studying. Because when you come into the understanding of this doctrine, puts the spirit on you, all right, and you believe in the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the spirit, which is a part of the doctrine, a diligent spirit comes upon you. You want to look everything up. And the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient, in meekness instructing those that oppose themselves, if the Most High peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth. Yeah, because we're in these last seconds of America. There's some Israelites who are going to actually repent and believe the true doctrine. Because a lot of people start off following GOCC, and then they find out that, you know what, the answers aren't there. Yeah, well, I really can't explain this. And they can't explain it because it's not the truth. So us that know the correct doctrine, that's why it's important for us to be apt to teach, patient. Yeah, because Jake sometimes will ask a lot of questions and will be hard headed, and you'll want to just be like, all right, man, get out of here. Yet, we're supposed to be patient. In meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves, if the Most High peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. Yeah, and if you're not following this doctrine, if you believe that you're going to build a kingdom right here in America, like General Yohanan said, or if you believe that all nations can be saved, which is what GOCC believes, you know what you're in? You're in the snare of the devil, because that's not according to the scriptures. It's nothing personal. It's not no camp bang. We just picking on you because you're not in GMS. Nah, man, you're really not following the true doctrine, and you're causing confusion. You're causing division. In fact, let me go ahead and grab that. It's the book of Romans 16 and 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine. Yeah, and those things which are taught are contrary to the doctrine, which you have learned, and avoid them. Right. So you're supposed to avoid people like that, man. And you're supposed to mark them, and you're supposed to speak on it, saying, well, nah, that's not the truth. And you're supposed to broadcast it, so then those that are coming into the knowledge of knowing that they're Israelites don't get caught up in that snare. For they that are such serve not our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. Yeah, and a lot of our people are deceived by these false prophets, because that's what they are. They're not coming out of the scriptures the correct way. They're not going precept upon precept. And they're really just making stuff up, just pulling it out of a hat. and it sounds good. It's pleasing unto the ear, so a lot of our people, they gravitate to it. And it isn't a lot of these doctrines, and the leaders don't compel them to be diligent. Because when you type in GMS, you go to a page, for the most part, there's going to be all types of edification. There's going to be a lot of content on the page. Not so much when you type in GOCC, ICBK, IUIC, and that's not boasting or bragging. That's just the truth of the matter, because the Heavenly Father put a diligent spirit on our apostles and elders, and that trickles down to the men who believe on the doctrine of Yahushua, which is taught by the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. You see? It's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. Yeah, and that's one thing that isn't pushed amongst a lot of these other groups. The election. Because the Jake, he asked me about, okay, well, how are we going to get these women in order and so on and so forth. And I said it bluntly, well, the majority of these women are going to die, just like the majority of the men, they're going to die. Why? Because it's all about the election. See, that's why it's important to teach the whole road. In fact, go ahead and grab the book of Ezekiel. Then you won't be so weary in mind when Jake can't get it, when these women are out of order, because you understand the whole road. Right, this is the book of Ezekiel. Matter of fact, yep, Ezekiel 3:1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel. That's right. So you're supposed to eat this roll, which is talking about the word, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. That's right. So you're supposed to eat this roll and then go preach. And so when you eat and you consume this whole roll, you understand that, yes, our people are the greatest people on earth. But yeah, the kingdom is going to be for Israel. Yet you also know that 2/3 here in America of the nation of Israel is going to get put to death. It's going to be mass slaughter of our people. Our children, women are going to be raped, killed. There's going to be World War III. There's going to be all-out chaos. There's going to be martial law. See, this is all included. This is all a part of the doctrine. Why? Because it's the whole road. It's the whole road, and you have to be diligent in learning this whole road. All right, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, you shall never fall. That's right. If you do these things, you shall never fall. Okay, and you have to be diligent to make your calling and election sure. You have to be diligent in this doctrine and keeping this doctrine and being able to teach. In fact, let me get another scripture, then I'll go ahead and wrap up. I don't want to make this too long. 2 Timothy 2:1, thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushua. Right, the grace is favor. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. That's right, man. So you're supposed to hear this word, it's committed unto you so that you're able to teach. Like Jake God is saying in the world, each one teach one. Well, that's his truth. Yeah, shalom to everyone on the comment board. Beautiful screen name. Yep, Yahweh my power. Yeah, and that is the name. That is the name. And if you don't have those names, if you don't have the names of Yahweh, you don't have the names of Yahushua, you don't have the pure doctrine. And really, you're not going to be saved. All right, so in the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, right, men of faith, who shall be able to teach others also. That's right. So you hear this word, you eat the roll, and then you go out and you teach. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up there. I just wanted to touch on that briefly. I pray the lesson was edifying. All the praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua. All right, Shabbat Shalom, and keep pushing.